Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Comic Book Nerd Nation. Things might be a little different today because Fox isn't here, so we have taken over the podcast. Today, with us as usual, it's the Pirate.
Hi, Whole F and Brian. How are you today?
And also we've got Topher.
Oh man, this is either going to be the best show we've ever done or a complete shit show. This is the first episode that Fox hasn't been on ever.
I know. And he left us kids to play.
The amount of excitement that Brian has put into this planning and getting this to go without Fox is amazing. Like, he's like, oh, I get to do the clap. I get to do everything right at the beginning. I'm going to do the intro. I get to be Fox. Then he's like, I'm going to mow my lawn when I'm done.
And it's all going to fall apart probably inside of 10 minutes, I bet. He's going to get tired of it.
Fox's clap, Chris.
Oh, yeah, I did that part, but, whatever.
Oh, yeah. So, Brian, how does it feel walking in Fox's shoes?
I'm not currently wearing shoes, so I wonder if Fox is ever wearing shoes when he starts this.
Probably not.
I wouldn't.
Cold? I don't know how he does it.
So
it's kind
now if you're being Fox, you have to say that we're gonna jump right in.
Yeah, let's jump right in with some some stuff and things that happened out in the world. Stuff. Yeah. So this, as we're recording this past Friday, Doctor Strange was released.
Yes.
I'm gonna be Doug and be like, has anybody seen it?
I have
not.
Pirate
Who's here has seen it? I saw it too.
Pirate sucks.
Yeah, I just got back to the country. Okay,
that's no excuse. Do they not have movies in Canada?
You weren't in Afghanistan. You weren't in the desert.
Seriously.
It's very cold up there. Actually, no, it wasn't that cold. It wasn't.
Were you looking for the Lost Ark?
I was up there looking for Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch.
I was looking for a Sam Squanch.
It's some. Is that like a half-breed moose?
No.
Don't they have a lot of mooses? Did you see any mooses in Canada?
That's what Bubbles out in Nova Scotia calls them. Goddamn Sam! It's a fucking Sam Squanch, Ricky. Goddamn helicocksuckers.
Did you find the weapon-esque facility while you were in Canada?
No, I was actually looking for hanging out with Wolverine, up there doing Canadian stuff.
Canadian stuff? Like what? Yeah. Like draining maple syrup from trees and...
we was out there hanging out in the old frozen open, eh? It's quite a bit of a process out there, every now and then we like to get out and drain a few trees for their lifeblood. They like to call it the syrup up there, eh? So we got this process where we drill a hole in this living thing called a tree, and then we take its blood. It's a bit of a sacrificial process, and it's basically we just sacrifice trees to put them on our pancakes, eh?
Interesting.
Sounds delicious. I want to go eat a sacrifice tree.
It's quite a delicious edible up there, right?
And we have lost control of this podcast already.
Yeah. You got to watch out for glaciers, though. Sometimes you got to break for the glaciers, eh?
Did you see
always break for glaciers. Yes, I did.
Really?
Were they riding on mooses?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They didn't dress like I thought they would, though. They actually just dressed like police officers.
Oh, that's boring.
Oh, they weren't dressed like the.
But they had
wrestler.
like instead of like red line or instead of a blue like line on their pants, they'd have like a red line on their pants. Yeah, I was really hoping to see. I mean, I did see like them on TV when they would like interview them like on the news and stuff like that, but I didn't see any Mounties out in the wild.
Into wild Mountie sightings.
No wild Mountie sightings.
All right, so Brian, tell us about Doctor Strange.
I thought Doctor Strange. I saw it Thursday night. I thought it was great. I thought it was completely different than any other Marvel movie that's come out. It was a new kind of feel to it. I thought the trippiness of some of the scenes was trippy. I liked it a lot. I think my favorite character was either Wong or his cape. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Of course, if Doug was here, he's a Marvel fanboy. Marvel fanboy.
Well, if if he were on, he'd just be talking about how he didn't see it yet because he's been too busy, and he'll watch it eventually. And I don't know, I don't really like to see movies in theaters unless they're really good, because they're really expensive. And I don't know, maybe I'll watch this one, maybe I won't. Maybe we'll get to talk about it 6 months from now when it comes out on video, and I eventually watch it. And that's normally how a
Well, no.
a Fox review goes.
But the review doesn't really go until we all have seen it. You know what I mean? So
right, but
Yeah,
he's
I
not here
wasn't
this
supposed to
week,
be
so we get to
Unfortunately,
talk about it.
But in all fairness, though, to him, though, he does eventually come to the point where it's like, you know what, that's fine. Go ahead. I might go ahead. We'll review it. We'll talk about it. And then that's kind of like he gets a review to decide if he's going to watch it eventually. So
yeah, but
it's kind of smart. It's smart on his point because he knows you guys are going to see it. He knows at least out of the three of us, two of us are going to see it opening weekend. Every movie that comes out. So it's a matter of like, if he gets a good review, good consensus of us, of our little panel here, then it decides if it's going to waste his, $20 to go see a movie. It's actually quite smart.
It's normally long after like we've remembered what it is we want to talk about it, though.
That is true.
Tell them to go watch it.
Fuck, I don't remember what happened, but I remember it was good. That's my review.
Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if I thought it was amazing, but I thought it was really solid. I liked that they did. The story was pretty good. Benedict Cumberbatch, first off, was fantastic. I thought he was great.
I love his American accent.
Right? He was really good in it. He made for a great Stephen Strange. So that part I thought was great. The acting was great. I thought they could have done a little bit more of the whole mystic arts thing, like it I wanted to see more, magic and weird shit and spell stuff than some of like just they focused a lot on the mirror world and like reality bending, warping, like making the scenery change, all Inception style. And that was cool, don't get me wrong, those effects were awesome. But at times it felt like some of it was a little bit of a 3D gimmick. And gimmick, there we go. Fox wasn't here, so we had to get gimmick in somehow. Some of it was like a gimmick for 3D, like there's one scene in particular where like his mind's first being opened up to other realities and all this stuff, and he's just like falling through all this like swirling, spinning rainbow shit, and I don't know, it just looked super awkward. It looked like old like 70s and 80s effects where like somebody's just like whoa, like falling and like kicking like waving their arms and legs up in the air, like you can't see my legs but my feet are totally up in the air, like flailing too, like a fucking bug on its back, just kind of flailing, while like the scenery, like these special effects keep going around them, and it just, I don't know, a couple times it looked a little hokey, and I wasn't feeling it, but overall the movie was good. There was another critique I had of it, and I can't even remember what it was now.
I did like how the spells looked when you used them.
The spells were cool when they did they like trace their hands and shit and like swirl it around them, and it's creating like the sigils and everything in the air. So that part was pretty neat. Oh, the other thing that I wasn't quite sure on was so Brian said he liked the cape, but the way they did the cape in this, like, so I'm not super familiar with Doctor Strange comic books. I've read some of his stuff, but not enough to know the answer to this question. But like, did his relics and stuff in the comics have kind of like a mind of their own? Were they like intelligent items, as you might say in D&D or something? Because so he gets the Eye of Agamotto, and he's got his signature red cape, but like it's like they have a mind of their own sometimes, and the cape was like
Spawn's cape almost.
Yeah, the cape was like doing things for him, like it like suddenly jumped up and like blocked for him when somebody went to attack him, and he didn't even know it was coming, and he just looked down at the cape like, oh shit, thanks, like. There was some awkwardly placed humor in this one. Like, yeah. Avengers was funny. Avengers was really funny. Like, and the humor all fit. Iron Man, can be hilarious. Even in Captain America, there was some well-placed humor. But The humor in Doctor Strange felt forced and awkward. Like it just didn't quite fit. And they tried for some levity with with the cape and with some other things, and yet it came off feeling Harry Potter-ish to me. Like the cape doing things on its own reminded me of like the magical artifacts in Harry Potter, like working
You know what it
independent
kind
of
of
their
reminded me of, the
owners.
cape?
What's that?
At some points, it reminded me of the magic carpet in Aladdin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can totally see that. So I don't think the humor worked quite as well in this one, and it seemed like they tried to. It seemed like they tried to make it more accessible to a generic audience, which I get is how you make money making movies. But I think I would have actually liked to see them do the the effects and the magic thing a little more out there. But since they didn't, I guess they did a good job of making Doctor Strange fit in with the rest of the MCU. Where they showed, they opened your eyes to all these possibilities and said these other realities are out there. There is this stuff going on, but it's kind of a special deal to screw with it. So you're not going to see it all the time, and so it's not necessarily like a they can get away with this and do this without it necessarily being like a game changer and like oh, the MCU is like forever different kind of thing. So I mean it worked in the bigger picture, and it was a great movie by itself. But there were a couple things that I thought were not amazing.
The thing about the magic to me is like, and what helps it was that we didn't see so much of it. We saw a lot of it, him being strong and what he knew. I liked how they didn't leave it off like in a 2-hour movie that through that whole sped up time that he became Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
Because he doesn't really I don't think he was at that point. Maybe in the after credit scene by then he is, depending on where that takes place.
Yeah, there definitely seemed to be a little bit of a time jump there.
Yeah, but he's still not Sorcerer Supreme, which I like. Don't do it in 2 hours. You didn't rush it. Car accident, explaining how he was as a doctor, then he goes to his place. The one thing that I didn't like, and it just felt out of place where the whole setting is that he had Wi-Fi in a temple.
Okay, I actually really appreciated that joke. That one I thought was hilarious.
That joke was good, yeah, but it just like felt weird that you think he's in this like monk-like setting and he's sitting there on his small little laptop emailing.
I mean,
the whole time.
See that's like I didn't think that was that big a deal though. They showed that this stuff can still, this isn't happening in like an isolated world. This isn't like some little far corner of the earth where the only place where mysticism happens. Like I think they were showing that magic can coexist with technology. So I actually kind of really appreciated that, because they showed, it's like it's not an either or. We're not saying, let's eschew technology. There is no such thing as, Wi-Fi or Iron Man suits. Instead, like this is all about the mysticism. And I think they showed that you can have them side by side, and doing magic doesn't mean that you have to assume technology doesn't exist. So I actually kind of appreciated that they gave him Wi-Fi access in his room while he was studying.
The other two things I really liked, I liked how they didn't leave you guessing whether the Eye of Agamotto was a Infinity Stone. That after he puts it back, Juan's just like, oh, it's an Infinity Stone. The world's a lot bigger place than you thought.
It's like, don't screw with an Infinity Stone. A what? Don't worry about it.
And then what was the other thing? I liked how like I feel like before going into the movie that if you didn't see Dormammu and they just left him as a name, it would be kind of a ripoff. I like how you saw him. He didn't actually fight him. He kind of like pulled one over on him. with the whole
I thought that
repeating
was really
time.
good.
And I like that he wasn't a giant smoke monster or just two eyeballs and a voice.
Or a giant cloud.
He had a face.
Like Galactus.
Yeah, Galactus and
Yeah.
Parallax and
Yeah,
Cloud of Parallax.
In these solo superhero movies, a lot of times the villain is kind of the weakest point. Well, even in any superhero movie,
besides Loki.
besides
They all kinda
Loki,
last.
besides the Joker, you know, like even in Suicide Squad, you know, you had the Enchantress and she was doing stuff, but like their plans always seemed very, you know, nebulous. Like they're in there,
There's a lot
they're
of holes in there.
they're casting a spell and they're trying to draw in a dude, and like it seems like they're at it for days, and it's like you have all this power and you're not using it, you know, like
Yeah.
it just seems like the villains, they have to purposely restrain them from doing the things they're actually capable of doing in order to make the movie work, and I always hated that. So I will say that Doctor Strange basically got the villain right in that they made they made the bad guys powerful enough. They actually used their powers when they had them, and there was a bigger threat looming that they were working on getting there, but it wasn't quite there yet. So like there were still a lot of things kept in check, but they had legitimate story reasons for doing so, and I thought the bad guy situation worked out. It felt like a big enough threat. They did enough stuff that that they were bad guys, without making them just the throwaways or whatever. So I thought that was played pretty well.
Like I read a couple of reviews that kind of complain that I don't remember his character's name or the actor's name, but I'll call him Pink Eyes for now. That
Mads Mikkelsen.
Pink Eyes, like they were complaining that he was a throwaway bad guy, that they
Bond
did it
villain.
again. Yeah. They did it again, and they kind of just like, oh, here's the villain. Oh, he's gone. But to me, he wasn't the villain. He was
Exactly
a pawn of Dormammu.
If he were
head.
the only bad guy, I would agree with that assessment, but he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. He was just like there. And then I like the end, like the after credits, set up another Doctor Strange movie, kind of connected him to the universe.
And it shows how he fits into the universe.
But I read something interesting, like a fan theory that wasn't Thor, that was actually Loki looking for. But to me, I'm like, why wouldn't Doctor Strange know that was Loki? Why would he be like, oh, why'd you bring Loki here?
I don't know. That's actually an interesting theory. And the question is, can Doctor Strange see through that illusion or not? Maybe his powers aren't good enough yet.
Maybe he could feel Loki, but not feel Loki's right in front of him.
Right.
It's a theory to think about. Obviously, we won't get the answer until.
So I guess the Eye of Agamotto then is the time gem.
Yeah. So, but what happens to that when Thanos comes and takes it? Does it no longer work? Is it gone? Is it garbage? I mean, the hard thing to think about that is because in the comics there was multiple eyes, I believe. I don't know that much about Doctor Strange, just what I've learned in other tie-ins or what I've looked up. But you also had the eye in Thor. It was in Odin's throne room or weapons.
Oh, was there one in there?
Room. Yeah, it was that, the Infinity Gauntlet, something else, while he's walking to Destroyer. Because obviously the Chosen One, not the Chosen One, the Ancient One didn't go, hey, Odin, can I have this, please? Can I borrow it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Someday rental?
I don't know exactly, I think that the Eye of Agamotto in the comics does a lot of different stuff for Doctor Strange. A lot of it actually is like it's seeing. It's the Eye of Agamotto. It lets him see through illusions. It lets him see the bad guy, see into other realities. It's basically like a second sight kind of power. So like. Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know that like the time manipulation stuff really fits into what the eye does in the comics. And so I think it'd be fine if the Infinity Stone disappears from the eye when Thanos shows up, because that'll be a good way to keep, Doctor Strange and the Avengers and whomever, all the good guys, from having time manipulation powers at their disposal to just deal with everything. So I think that's fine. And in light of that, maybe Doctor Strange learns how to use the eye for other things, and then it has its more normal uses that it has in the comics. So I like that I like that they included that. It worked well in this movie. It makes it fit in with with the long term plan. And yeah, I mean, I was fine with that. And I think it'll work out fine.
Yeah, I mean, that question also goes along with what happens to Vision when the soul gem gets plucked out of his head.
Yeah, that's going to be the more interesting question.
I mean, I guess the only thing we have to do is wait and see. Pirate, do you have anything to say about this?
No, I'm going to try to see it today or tomorrow. Maybe Tuesday at the latest, but it's on my to-watch list for sure. So.
All right, so the next thing we have is, I guess, it was recently reported that, I don't know how to say his name, but if you watched Game of Thrones, the guy who played Mance Rayder is casted as Steppenwolf in the Justice League movie.
Ooh, I didn't hear about that.
I guess for you, those of you who have no idea who Steppenwolf is, he's Darkseid's uncle. And then...
Is this going back to that magic carpet thing again?
Steppenwolf magic carpet ride. I see what you did there.
But he's Darkseid's uncle. If anybody's seen the Batman vs Superman, Batman v Superman,
he's his uncle. I thought he was
extended.
No, he's his uncle.
I did my research.
Okay.
Yeah, Pirate. Don't question the host of the podcast. You know that's the number one rule.
Don't question the host. Don't question the alternate version of Fox 2 or the second Fox 2.
He called you
Fox 2 too.
He called you Fox 3 before we started. It was funny. You missed it.
Fox 3. I'm going to change my name to Fox 3. But if you ever watch the extended version of Batman vs Superman, there's a part with Lex finds like this thing with the mother boxes, and it looks like a giant creature, which is weird that I don't know how they're going to do Steppenwolf in the movie, whether he's going to be human or whatever. But yeah.
So he's going to be in what now?
Justice League.
In Justice League, okay.
Ask me how excited I am for Justice League.
How excited are you for Justice League?
It's from a scale from meh to meh.
From a scale from meh to meh.
But, he's a good actor.
Is Darkseid going to be in that?
I don't know.
Do we know? Okay.
I don't know. Can we get a confirmation on that?
I mean, I'm sure he is, but...
Yeah. I mean, that would be the likely...
he's a good actor,
villain,
except for a shitty movie that was on FX this morning when I woke up called Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, where he played the devil. Because that was just a shit movie. Yeah.
I don't know that I ever... That's the second one, right?
Yeah, that's the one where he's all trippy and shit.
I don't know that I ever actually saw that one. A friend of mine explained it as Nicolas Cage channeling Elvis channeling Nicolas Cage. And that was basically his Ghost Rider.
But yeah, I mean, he's a good actor. Don't really... I guess Darkseid will be in Justice League 2 or whatever.
Oh yeah, I guess they said back in June that the Justice League movie villain is Steppenwolf, not Darkseid. But I mean, he's probably ushering in Darkseid, I guess.
I guess so.
The bell's already been rung. Ding ding, ding ding.
Oh, I haven't watched the extended version of that either. I keep meaning to. I actually think I'd like Batman v Superman a lot better the second time through.
The extended version is so much better. Like they added things that made so much more sense. there was things that happened in the background, like they showed that was going on that just it was good. I liked it. It bumped it up a point or two on my ratings.
Oh yeah, so oh my god, I can't think of your name, Brian. Jesus. So we didn't do rating numbers for Doctor Strange.
Oh shit!
What would you give it?
I'd give it a solid 7.5.
Marvel fanboy vote for sure.
I think I was probably gonna give it a 7, right around there. Yeah.
I mean, it was the first, I guess, origin movie that we've seen in a while from Marvel.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's been a while. All the other characters are kind of established or don't have their own movies.
I think a lot has to do with that it's a whole different feel than anything we ever seen, and I think they did very good with it. And it was a character I didn't even know about.
I'm actually really excited now to see like a fight between him and somebody non-magical, because one of the things that we saw in Doctor Strange was that all the fights really were between magic versus magic. So now it'd be really neat to see Doctor Strange fighting, like, I don't know, Loki. Of course, I guess that would still be kind of illusions and magic. Fighting somebody else, like getting a fist fight with somebody, like what happens when Hulk goes to beat the shit out of Doctor Strange for some reason. Like it'll be interesting to see how magic plays off of other things,
like in the bigger picture.
Exactly. Well, in everybody's solo movies, you kind of see a lot of stuff about how their shit works, but when it goes to the team up movies, you don't necessarily see the same things. But there's always some carryover. Like Iron Man, you always had like the inside the helmet shot with the heads up display and everything, and they carried that over into Avengers. Because whenever he was talking, sometimes they'd show his perspective. But it'll be neat to see whether they still do, like what of like the hand movements that like, generate the symbols and everything, like how much of that carries over into the team up movies, or does it all just kind of happen automatically now? And, and it'll be cool to show like magic fighter pitted against a pure physical fighter and see how they do that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Plus, like his whole, I'm guessing he's going to have a big role in Infinity War. I mean, or maybe the second one, because if have you guys read Infinity Gauntlet? I'm sure you guys have.
Oh, that's
a long ass time ago.
But like I wonder if his whole role is going to be what Adam Warlock's role was, unless they introduce Adam Warlock. They still have
Guardians
3 movies.
There was a rumor that Adam Warlock might show up in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the next Guardians movie, but who knows?
Yeah. So taking off from Steppenwolf, we had also the new or full first Wonder Woman trailer that was released this past week.
That was actually very long. It was a very
I'm
long
not going to be Doug and be like, have you guys watched it? Because I know you guys watched it because you watched it before we started this thing. So what do you guys think of it?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. Like I said, I was talking. There's some points that were kind of confusing to me. Like it showed the soldiers storming the beaches of Themyscira, and then it shows Steve Jobs. Steve Trevor. What the fuck? I don't know.
Introducing the new iPad.
Right. That's what happens when you're staring at an iMac and you fucking say Steve anything. It's like automatically in your brain. So it shows Steve Trevor walking up, and saying like he saves Princess Diana, and then
that sounded weird too.
Princess Diana. I'm pretty sure Princess Diana didn't get saved.
Yeah, he did. He shows her like tackle her.
He doesn't get it.
Oh well. Oh man, yeah, car wreck. Yeah. I feel bad now. Anyway,
who's the villain in that movie? Dodi Al-Fayed?
Was that the paparazzi?
No, it was her boyfriend that was driving the car.
Oh. No, he wasn't. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know. Anyways, so he tackles her and then like pushes her out of the way of a bullet, and then like all of a sudden he's like in the halls like, I'm here to stop the war, to end all war, or the war of all wars, or something like that. And then it's just weird. Then it just like, okay, then it makes sense now. But up until that point, I was very confused. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are they still in Themyscira? And then it's like, you know, it shows them crash the plane, but then it shows like all these dudes come charging the beach and it's all out battle and all these. You know, I don't know. But it looks
very
good.
hidden island, is it?
No, it's not a very well hidden island. I
mean, I thought it was good. I mean, Wonder Woman was one of the nuggets of gold in a giant turd.
What was the giant turd? Or are you talking about Batman v Superman?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought it looked cool. I mean, obviously, we're all going to be, since Captain America came out first, we're all going to be like, oh, it's so Captain America-ish. But, you know, I think, you know, they brought it back to, you know, Wonder Woman started back during World War II, and I could see why they brought it back to World War I instead, because they didn't want it to be Captain America.
Well,
but
I also feel like this one is, you know, she's finding her abilities in this one. Like, there's one scene in the trailer where she like stops a bullet with the bracer, and she's like shocked or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like she's like developing herself. She's a developing young woman.
Was she shocked, or were they doing something else in that alley before they got attacked?
Well, so an alternate interpretation of that could be that she wasn't shocked by her abilities, but she was shocked by the abilities of the. I mean, they probably don't have guns on Themyscira, so. You know, like, well, maybe she was surprised to see, you know, like how human warfare had evolved, and you know, like she sees a projectile and blocks away and is like, holy shit, that thing shot a projectile. Like maybe that was her, you know, realization of how guns work.
Well, but it shows them storming the beach. So she's seen guns and she's seen them when they're like storming the beach and shit, firing at them.
Well, how do you know those scenes were in that order? I mean, it was a trailer.
Because she's just sitting there like in her fucking robes and shit, just hiding on a beach, and you know her mom's charging and slashing motherfuckers, like, you know, like.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. To me, the trailer looked really promising. I'll be honest. I think the superhero fighting in a world war thing looks like it might be done better here than it was in Captain America: The First Avenger.
I think it's going to be on a bigger. It looks on a bigger scale. Like it looks actually like a war.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Captain America: The First Avenger, but I thought it was a little campy. They showed a lot of the war stuff through the eyes of like, you know, like the hokey, like at home American image of, you know, how they wanted people to think of the war. You know, it was like, you know, war bonds and the fake Captain America getting up in front of people and like, you know, punching Hitler and all that stuff. You know, like, and that's not how it really was. And when you got to the actual war scenes, it was more dominated by Hydra technology than it was actual World War II. So to me, the combat and fighting scenes and the action scenes in Wonder Woman look more legit. They look more realistic. They look, you know, grittier, more real.
So are you saying this is not a historically accurate film for Captain America?
I mean, super Nazis with other, you know, alien technologies and laser guns. I mean, that wasn't in my history course. I don't know what you studied.
Just curious. I studied the occult of Nazi Germany in the Second World War. So it was similar to my study and my findings, but you know, I obviously went to a more prestigious academy versus you, apparently, as I can tell from your lack of
education
and vocabulary.
Words.
Not word stuff.
Stuff and things.
So yeah, no, I think the Wonder Woman movie looks freaking awesome. The only and I can say this because Fox isn't here. The only hesitation I had was the first trailer. Kind of showed Wonder Woman as a very powerful lead role, and like Steve Trevor, they tried to have the strong male, asserting his influence, and she was like not having it, and I thought that was a nice change of pace. But in this one, they
social justice warrior.
exactly. They kind of gave Steve Trevor a little bit more of a lead role in this trailer. It's kind of his idea to go to war. It's she's playing the part of his secretary. And I get that she's still the powerful superhero and she's the one, but I'm still a little worried that they're going to try and the only way that they can pass off a female as being, amazing and awesome is if they, tell everybody that don't worry, she's just, they try and keep her a secret instead of let her, actually shine and be her in the public. It seemed like they might have been backing down a little bit on the strong female lead thing, but we'll see. You can't really tell that from a trailer, so.
I really hope that somebody does a music video to some No Doubt I'm Just a Girl with Wonder Woman. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
I just picture that. Yeah, intellectual property right here.
Copyright Pirate 2016.
It's stamped.
All right, so the next bit of news we have is recently released was a photo of the Megazord toy of the Megazord for the new upcoming Power Rangers movie. And yeah, you guys saw it. I don't have to ask you if you saw it. What do you guys think?
But I didn't really, because the link you sent me
God
doesn't
damn
work.
it.
Oh, there it goes. No, never mind. It just worked now. Oh, okay. That's.
I think it looks pretty cool. It doesn't look like Voltron-ish. It looks like a living.
It looks more like a gargoyle.
Yeah,
it has.
It
wings.
looks more living. Like you can see the muscle and chest. You know what I mean? It doesn't look
like a giant rubber suit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could look like a giant rubber suit still. I mean, but it doesn't look like it doesn't look like somebody had like pieces of it. You know what I mean? Like in
a Transformer.
No, not like a Transformer. Just like somebody made a costume out of boxes. It doesn't look like it. How about that?
So
Like
I mean, in the original Power Rangers, when they had the Megazord fighting, I mean, it literally it would punch something and you could see the cardboard boxes shake on its arm. I mean, it was. We're not talking great special effects, but there is a bit of Voltron to it.
Well, yeah,
the fact is the Megazord comes together from the 5, Zords that they're in, and the Megazord in the show looks like a combination of 5 smaller robots. This Megazord doesn't look like the combination of anything. It looks like its own thing altogether. So, if you look at this, you can't really see the any kind of individual parts to it, at least. Not that I can really tell. So,
well, have we seen we haven't even seen what the Zoids are.
That's also true.
Zoids?
Zoids?
Zords.
Like the Noid? Like the Noid?
Although actually, now that I look at it, you can see the distinct colors. There's yellow around the midsection, black around the hips. There's red on the shoulders, and there's pink around the helm. So maybe
they're flying around in arms and torsos and faces.
Well, I mean, you still can't tell what the individual Zords look like, but
no, that's what I mean. They are that the individual Zords are as an arm they fly around in, or a mid torso section that they fly around in.
Sure.
I don't know. You can't really see where the pieces are. I mean, there's little hints of each color.
Right.
You can't really tell what went where and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, the movie still looks kind of cool.
It's a basic toy thing.
Yeah, but that also means that they're not making the toy such that you can disassemble it into. They're not going the cool toy route like Transformers and Voltron, where you can actually take the 5 Zords and piece them together to make the Megazord. Because I'm pretty sure there's no transforming going on of toys that will turn into that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll come out. They'll come out with something, because money, 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 money.
Right.
But for now, you can't really tell. And it has wings too. That's a little weird, and a fisticuff sword.
Yeah, it definitely looks a bit different.
Can't fly without wings.
It looks less like a robot and more like a, I don't know, like a space creature.
Yeah, it looks like
a space demon.
Its own, like, superhero.
Looks like a space demon gargoyle instead of a robot. So.
A space demon gargoyle.
Space demon gargoyles.
All right, and the last bit of news I have is the latest 90s movie getting rebooted is Starship Troopers.
I am all about that life.
I am not. That was such a cult classic movie.
Starship Troopers is great. Why don't fuck with that? No, you can't.
They want to. The only bit of information is that they had was they want to make it darker and. Just
what? Here's the thing.
Don't want to remake.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're not gonna make it. They're not gonna continue it because the movies that followed the first one sucked. So they can't just make Starship Troopers 8 and be like, okay, finally we got it. It's good again.
And didn't it kind of trickle off into an animated movie? I think the last one was animated, Marauders or something, about big giant mech units that they ride to fight these bug things.
I don't know. I never saw that.
That movie has 2 great things: Denise Richards and Neil Patrick Harris.
The original movie was great. I mean, how do you do a remake of that? Okay, if you want to make oh god, now I'm gonna sound like Fox. If you want to do a reboot of something, why can't you just make a new original movie? If you want a darker space battle between, or shit, make a StarCraft movie. If you want Terrans fighting Zerg all over the galaxy, and you just want to try and make it serious, there's several other properties you can use that have that premise. There's several ways you can do that. I mean, you could even make an original movie and make it that premise, and so many people have done it that it can't even be really copyrighted, and you can make your own story out of it. But what made the original Starship Troopers work was how the almost pulp sci-fi feel, the very the kind of humorous, almost tongue-in-cheek at times way of doing things, and just how cheesy it was. That was they did it on purpose and with amazing effect, and I just don't know how you recreate that, especially if you're trying to make it darker and grittier.
Maybe make the humans smarter, because that first scene when the bugs are firing into space, blowing up all the ships, letting them do it to them. Remember?
Well, that's kind of like go into battle and die mindset than anything. I think there was more to that than just them letting them do it. But I think my favorite part in that movie that I thought was actually probably the funniest was when he's fucking they're on that obstacle course and that dude falls and his gun goes off and blasts that dude in the face and he's like, medic, and his fucking face is shredded. Yeah,
the dude's head just crumples like a watermelon that's been split open. Yeah. Now I need to go rewatch that movie.
You know what? When that movie first came out, when that movie first came out, I was in basic training in the Army, and it was at receptions, and receptions was
your gun was loaded when you did the obstacle course.
No. So in receptions, you go there and it's basically where you get your shots and your paperwork and your uniform and shit. Then you go to your training section of basic. This was in Fort Leonard, Missouri. So it's closed during the weekends because most of the people who work there are civilians. So we basically the entire weekend they put us on these wooden benches and make us sit in this fucking hall, and they have this big 55-inch. It was one of those box projector TVs, And literally the only movie they had us watch was Starship Troopers the entire fucking weekend. So I seen that movie like 17 times when it fucking came out. Like it felt like, dude, it was like, oh my God. Like twice a day for 2 or 3 days was just fucking Starship Troopers.
And was it great every time?
Every time. I was sitting there like, I can't wait to go fight these bugs. It's gonna be so cool.
Maybe that was actually secret training. Maybe they were trying to desensitize you to the enemy and treat you to convince you to treat them like bugs.
I mean,
just in case.
Makes sense to me.
It was actual psychological training.
Yep. Call it psyops.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Look at you go. Look at you go.
I got
like a breakdancing headset.
And Doug's going to kill us. He's going to watch it and be like, we're not putting this up. So the last bit of news I think Chris brought to the table is that the new TV spot for the FX series Legion, which of course is based on X-Men, and you know how Chris loves X-Men.
Yeah.
Likes that triple X-Men too.
Yeah, so John, you said you didn't see it?
I have not seen it yet.
Well, too bad.
I went and watched a trailer for it on YouTube that I guess actually came out in like June or July, and I guess we missed it. Because I saw the commercial, but I didn't realize what it was a commercial for until it was like close to the end when I heard him say, mutant, and I perked up and I was like, wait, what? And then they showed the Legion logo with like the X through the O in his name, and I'm like, oh, like I didn't realize this was like I remember them talking about it.
Looking shitty all of a sudden to like, oh, this is going to be the greatest show ever.
Well, I mean, no, I wasn't watching it. Like I was skipping through commercials and I wasn't paying attention, and like I didn't know what it was, and then I heard Mutant. I'm like, oh shit, this is the Legion show that we kept hearing about, and I hadn't actually seen anything for. So I was excited to see the commercial, and honestly, it looks pretty cool. An FX series. The effects looked really good. I don't recognize the actor. I didn't recognize anybody in it, but it looked like it was pretty well done. So I'm glad to see that they're sticking to the concept, and I'm eager to see it.
You know what really disappoints me? Disappoints me that he doesn't have the pencil haircut.
Okay, and the one thing I was sitting there thinking was like, why did they do the hair? Why did they do the hair? Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
But I think it looks good. I'm trying to separate it from the movies, even though does it take place in that universe that's kind of screwed up, and we don't know, what timeline's which?
That's not quite really clear at this point. I mean, they obviously reference mutants and there being other mutants and whatnot. And I mean, he's the son of Charles Xavier, at least in the comics. I imagine they're going to keep that in the show as well. Otherwise, his claim to fame really is nothing. I mean, he's a super powerful mutant, but I mean, outside of him being X's kid, he doesn't really have a whole lot of other ties to the Marvel universe at large. So I imagine they keep that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether this is like its own continuity or if this is supposed to fit in with the movies somehow, or I don't know.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think it said it comes out in February.
I'll be watching
next year. I'll give it a try. I mean,
give it a gander.
Yeah.
FX normally does their series pretty well.
Usually.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody has anything else. I'm done.
He's like, I'm done. Your guys' show now. Bye. Peace. I'm out. That was all I had. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
So, yeah, it's been another fun-filled episode of Comic Nerd Nation that I did not say what number because we don't keep up with that.
100 something.
50
Fox
something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
100 and something.
I would have looked it up. if I
I'm only Fox.
remembered.
I'm only Fox 3, so I got a little watered down from Fox 2. I don't have all the information he has. So, thanks for coming. Like it, comment, tell us how awesome we were without Fox, so he could giggle and make faces at us, and then argue with Chris about something.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes.
So until next week, I am Fox 3. We've got Pirate.
Oh, have a good one. Have a great one.
And Topher.
154. This is 154. So there you go. And dare I say, the best one yet. Okay, bye.